What's going on, guys? Welcome to a stream kinda after the press conference. So we're going to talk about UFC 282 press conference. We're going to talk about UFC 282 predictions. We're going to talk about whatever else you guys want to talk about. Paddy Pimblett, Ilia Topuria. Will we ever see the fight? Who would win that fight? Does the UFC want that fight? Does Paddy Pimblett want that fight? And we'll talk about the presser a little bit. You guys know I'm not too big on UFC pressers in general. I watched it though, because just in case, something interesting happens. This press conference wasn't particularly good. It wasn't particularly compelling. It wasn't particularly fun. I mean, it is what it is, basically. The only real notable shit you can talk about is there was a little bit of back and forth from Paddy Pimblett and Ilia Topuria. I'm not much for the soap opera drama, but I think Paddy looked dumb, and I don't think he wants the Ilia Topuria fight at all. He's going to make every excuse in the book. He's saying you're not relevant to Ilia Topuria. Meanwhile, Ilia Topuria is ranked in the top 15 of featherweight. He just came off a knockout win over a lightweight. And Paddy Pimblett is fighting Jared Gordon. So, Paddy don't want that fight at all. Paddy's talking shit, but he doesn't want the fight. And let me just say this, and I've already told you guys this multiple times. I think because of the size difference, Paddy could beat Topuria. But skill for skill, Topuria should smash Paddy. Now, just because of Paddy's size advantage, I could see him, if he clips him with a big shot, he could put him away. But Topuria is far better skill-wise. And Paddy Pimblett just don't want that fight. He clearly didn't want the fight during the presser. Then you also have the other notable thing that happened at the presser, where Paddy Pimblett recently said that I rolled with Jared Gordon twice, or I rolled with him once and submitted him twice. And Jared Gordon's like, I've seen this guy one time in my entire life, and I've never rolled with him. Now, who was telling the truth? Who knows? But we know from the recent Ariel Helwani clips on Paddy Pimblett's podcast that he is a habitual liar. So I'm going to take Jared Gordon's word for it. So Paddy Pimblett lied about rolling with another fighter and submitting another fighter. For what? Paddy Pimblett is just digging his own grave. I've actually been a fan of Paddy Pimblett. I think he's an interesting character. I think he's got a fun, exciting fight style. But dude has just buried himself this week. I mean, and then he was asked in an interview. I retweeted a clip. He was in an interview recently, did an interview with somebody online, and they asked him about the Ariel thing, and he said, Ariel's doing this, and Ariel's doing that. I don't care what Ariel says, and this and that. But he never addressed any of the substance. And then Paddy Pimblett's manager, I don't know how many of you guys seen this because nobody follows this guy. Paddy Pimblett's manager came out and put out this Instagram video and said, well, there needs to be added context to this. And I watched like 75% of these like 3 video clips that his manager posted. He never gave the context. Paddy Pimblett and his manager have absolutely shit the bed this week. And now I think a lot of people are rooting against him. I want Paddy Pimblett to lose now. I was rooting for him before. I picked him. I would pick him to win regardless if I was rooting for him or not. But obviously I want my pick to be right. But the way he acted this week, the way he's throwing out baseless claims against Ariel Helwani, no evidence to back it up just because for whatever reason he doesn't like him, and sucking up to Dana White and trying to get Dana White hard. Shit's just embarrassing. Now he's saying, I submitted this guy. First off, it's an unwritten rule in MMA. You don't talk about training and sparring sessions. You don't say, yeah, I got the better of him in sparring. I mean, it's sparring, And in this case, it's training, it's grappling, they're rolling with each other. It's practice. It's practice, and he's hyping himself up. Yeah, I submitted this guy 4 years ago. And it's just sad. I mean, I don't know. I almost think Paddy Pimblett is going the Jorge Masvidal route. To be beloved by fans. And then the second he starts getting a little bit of attention, all of a sudden his head blows up. And now he thinks he's somebody he's not. The fame and money has changed Paddy Pimblett. And I don't even know if he's gotten the money from the UFC yet, to be quite honest. So it's embarrassing. is making me dislike Paddy Pimblett. And then on top of that, he's talking shit and to Ilia Topuria, but he don't want nothing to do with him. He don't want nothing to do with him. And then you have the fact that, and I know some of you guys are like this too. And I always tell you guys it doesn't matter. Like, oh, this fighter needs to learn to speak English so they can be more promoted. I don't give a shit who speaks English, who speaks African, who speaks Spanish, who speaks Brazilian or Portuguese, whatever you want to call it. I don't give a shit. And the fact that Paddy Pimblett is like screaming in gibberish. Keep in mind, you can't even understand what Paddy Pimblett's saying. Learn to speak English. Learn to speak English. And that's his response to Ilia Topuria. I think it's just a dumb look. Especially when Paddy is English himself and you can't understand a damn word he's saying. So he's trying to compensate for something. He's young. He's trying to deal with himself being pushed into stardom, I guess. He's trying to, well, he is, he's holding podcasts and choking on Dana's dick and shitting on Ariel Helwani just so Dana White can get a rock solid in his pants. And it's just, it's quite sad. It's almost like the subtle, slight downfall of Paddy Pimblett these past couple of days. And, there's been a lot of turnoffs for Paddy Pimblett for fans this week. And I know I'm not the only one. You guys can let me know in the chat. I'll get to the chat in a second. But it's like, okay, any one of these things you can look past it. The Ariel thing, okay, he's just sucking off Dana White and trying to impress him. I hate Ariel Helwani too. I'm hip and I'm cool. And I got this cool bowl cut and I hate Ariel Helwani too. And I got this cool accent and Ariel Helwani's a rat and this and that. Okay, I can look past that. He's just trying to get some favor with his boss. But then you have the fact he doesn't want nothing to do with Topuria. He's talking shit to Topuria. He's telling Topuria to learn to speak English when you can't understand a fucking word out of his mouth. So it's just, it actually is annoying. And then you have his response to the Ariel thing, which is even more annoying. Makes no sense. No context to the situation. And then you have him lying about rolling with a guy, potentially lying. Maybe Jared Gordon, for some reason, doesn't remember this or whatever. It seemed like Paddy was lying to me. And I always call out these people, I'm no body language expert, but it seemed like once he got called out, he seemed like, it just felt like he was lying, And I don't get, why would you lie about something like that? So Paddy Pimblett has gone from quirky guy with a funky haircut that was kind of interesting with a cool accent and, always saying interesting one-liners to now he's a guy who's a habitual liar, who is doing weird shit, who's being babied by the UFC on top of that, being babied by him. I don't have a problem with it up until this point just because of where he's at career-wise, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh, Paddy Pimblett is fighting elite competition. Some people will. If he goes out there like I think he will and beats Jared Gordon, the people are going to say, oh, Paddy Pimblett passes a tough test. Jared Gordon fought Charles Oliveira before. That's how good Jared Gordon is. They're leaving out the fact that was years ago, a totally different version of Charles Oliveira, and Charles Oliveira starched him. Okay? So there is going to be those Paddy simps that are just going to suck him off no matter what, and they're going to reframe certain conversations to put Paddy in the best light because they like him, and up until this point, and what a roller coaster ride. For me personally, I've always kind of liked Paddy. I always thought he was kind of interesting. I always thought he was kind of fun. And then, there's the doorbell footage that comes out. Oh, my dog took a sloppy shit out front and I don't want to leave it here. And it makes you like Paddy even more. And then, you have this week of debacle. And I'm telling you guys this right now, and we'll see how this career trajectory goes from here on out. None of us can tell the future. I think Paddy Pimblett's getting in his head too much. I think he thinks too highly of himself. The fame and potential money that's coming with that fame, whether it's come yet or not, I don't know, because Dana White's stingy. Maybe Paddy, with the Ariel Helwani comments, is probably trying to get off 12-12. That's what he's probably trying to do. I think it's turned a lot of people against him. And then, what kind of puts me off is the fact that we have Paddy Pimblett in a co-main event of a pay-per-view. I think that's egregious regardless if you like him or not. The fact that Jared Gordon is in there in a co-main event of a pay-per-view. Jared Gordon in a co-main event of a pay-per-view. Ew. I think the best line of the night was from Bryce Mitchell, though. And again, I'm not going to sit here and, be some body language expert and say, oh, this is so great and that's so great. But the thing that I found just slightly humorous was Ilia called me a coward. And I've already proved him wrong because I showed up here and as a coward ready to die in there or something like that. He said it something like that, dude. Bryce is hilarious. He is literally like, a King of the Hill character. Like he hangs out with Boomhauer. And he's like, and then Bryce is like, yeah, the earth is flat and I'm prepared to die in there because the earth is flat and whatever else, So Bryce was kind of interesting. Magomed Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz, really nothing of note. I don't even remember a single word they said. Darren Till, just friendly. Drakus seemed kind of friendly for the most part and said, oh, we'll find out Saturday or something like that. And it's just, I've never been a fan of press conferences at all. I watch them specifically, basically to talk about them with you guys. And because you guys like to analyze them a little bit and hear my thoughts on them. And then there's people saying certain narratives afterwards. My biggest takeaway, hearing everything that Paddy Pimblett said, he don't want that Ilia Topuria fight. You can like Paddy, you can hate Paddy. He don't want that fight at all. And I think Topuria would smoke him too. I think Paddy would have a chance just because he would have a massive size advantage. But I think Topuria would smoke him. Nasty KO power, good jiu-jitsu, good wrestling. Paddy gets hit on the chin all the time. I think Topuria would smoke him. But the UFC don't want that fight. Paddy don't want that fight. Paddy's going to be fighting unranked guys for at least another 2-3 fights probably. I don't see him giving him, a Terrence McKinney. I don't see them giving him even a Jim Miller. We're going to have to watch Paddy fight bums for at least another year, I would say, until we finally seen him throw in there with some killers. And probably even then, they're going to do the most selective matchmaking you've ever seen. They're going to match up like Tony Ferguson with, who could they match him up right? They're going to match Tony Ferguson up with Li Jingliang. And then after Tony gets beat by Li Jingliang, they're going to force him back down to lightweight to fight Paddy Pimblett. That's what they probably do. So it is what it is. I think that's enough on the presser. I'm going to read some of the chat. If you guys have any questions, throw it in the chat. I would greatly appreciate you. Don't forget to like the stream. Also, if you're watching, you're not subscribed, go subscribe. Also, do me a favor. If you have not watched my UFC 282 prediction videos for every main card fight except one, and then a couple prelims fights, I have an entire UFC 282 playlist on the channel. Go check those out after this stream. I would greatly appreciate it. I work hard on those videos, so if you could go watch them, support them, like them, share them, all that good stuff, I would greatly appreciate it. What's up, Fries? What's up, Blaze? What's up, White? I didn't even watch the presser. Lucky you. Paddy is annoying. He was definitely annoying. What's up, Brendan? Does Paddy beat Topuria? No, he does not. He has a chance. I'm not going to say he doesn't have a chance just because of the size disadvantage. Topuria is much smaller. But I think Topuria smokes him. I feel like Paddy's fake. I agree with you partially, but I think what it is he doesn't know how to act. All this attention he's getting, he doesn't know how to act. I don't like when fighters talk trash about fighters that flat out avoid them. Paddy talks all this smack about Topuria, then said he won't fight him. Yeah, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And why wouldn't you want to fight him? That's a big fight. That's a ranked guy at featherweight. That's a relevant guy. Why doesn't he want to fight him? You can do a reasonable deduction, and he's like, oh, well, this guy's too good for where I'm at in my career right now. Surprised nobody asked him about Ariel? Of course they're not. The people that are allowed to go to those press conferences are promotional arms of the UFC. They won't dare ask a bad question. They won't dare bring up Ariel Helwani at a UFC presser. But Paddy did do an interview. Let me pull this up real quick. He did an interview with somebody. I now follow this guy on Twitter because he posted the interview, and he asked about Ariel. And not only did he ask about Ariel, he kind of pressed him about Ariel a little bit. So let me go find this guy real quick. I retweeted it, but it's a guy called The Gun Show on Twitter with a Z for guns. He did like a Skype interview with Paddy Pimblett. I retweeted it on my Twitter if you want to go find it. It's like my 5th tweet down. At MMA Joey C. Go follow me while you're on there. But if you're looking for it, he did an interview. Okay, where was I at? Paddy's trying too hard, man. So easy to hate the guy. He is definitely trying too hard. Topuria would smash Paddy. Agreed. When the announcer said someone's O has got to go, I then said, what if it's a draw? Yeah, true. Topuria is also a better person than Paddy. I mean, I don't know particularly. I don't know him personally, so I can't say, but it seems he seems all right. UFC busy coddling him. They will never feed him to the wolves. It's going to be a bit. It's going to be a bit. And I'll say this right now, guys. I've told you this many a times. Paddy's still young. He has room for improvement. What I see right now, he's never going to be like a top 10, top 15 guy. He might be able to sneak into the top 15 if the UFC really gives him like selective matchmaking. He's just, I mean, he's not that good, guys. He's fun. He's entertaining. He can hang with the lower level guys in the UFC, but he's not that good. He's getting his chin cracked every fight. You think that's going to last forever in the lightweight division? Paddy Pimblett will never, ever, ever even sniff a title shot unless somehow it's egregiously given to him. So I think Paddy will be gone, fizzle out. I mean, he'll fizzle out after UFC finally starts giving him some tough competition because eventually he's going to get to a point where it's now or never, and he'll fizzle out. Do you think Paddy is carrying the pay-per-view by himself? No, absolutely not. Bro, that was the biggest lie by Paddy. There you go. My decision for the fight is Paddy Pimblett. He's cold as ice. Okay. I believe Jared over Paddy. We'll see. I think the main event of 282 is super competitive, but I almost have zero interest in any main card fights outside of Bryce Mitchell's. I don't even think the main event's super competitive. I think Magomed's going to run away with it. Paddy's an idiot, and due to the size difference, I think he beats Gordon. Yeah, I agree. Joey, how's your Thursday? It's good. I can't believe it's already Thursday. I don't know where the time is going. I'm telling you guys, the last year, 2 years, has felt like a month for me. So, it just seems to me that, is it just me or did Till seem a bit scared? He seemed a bit off. I don't know. He just seemed a bit overly nice. I don't know about scared though. Agreed. Till did not seem confident or comfortable. It seemed suspect that he was asking if he should come out to Sweet Caroline like he had other shit on his mind. It wasn't good. You're reading into it a bit much, but I didn't read into it as that much as that. Why do you need to speak English to be popular? Look at people like Weili Zhang or Charles Oliveira. Yeah, that English comment was cringe. Also, like he speaks with KH all the time. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm assuming you mean like the way he talks. You can barely understand a word he says. I became your fan after this. Okay. I'm happy for that. I don't know what specifically you're referencing there, but I'm happy to have you. Paddy turned me off this week. He's cocky for no reason. He's not as good as people think he is. I don't even think people think he's good, so I don't even think that's necessarily accurate. He might slip by this fight, but soon he'll get a real opponent who will drop him, and I'll love it. Imagine Paddy goes out there and slips on a banana peel and loses to Jared Gordon. I will laugh my ass off. I will laugh my ass off. Paddy's a walk-in irony. Bang average lightweight. He's somewhere in the middle of the depth pool skill-wise. I don't even know if he's in the middle, but he's in the lower end in my opinion right now from what I've seen. I swear I hate Paddy so much. I hate when he talks shit to Topuria knowing he would never have the balls to fight the much smaller man. That is cringy. That is cringy. Maybe one day it'll happen. He'll wait till Topuria gets knocked out 3 times and then he'll start calling him out. It was so funny to me when Paddy said he would put up a better fight than Charles. Insanity. Disrespecting Charles. Bryce looked locked in. That he did. W chat F Paddy. I could see it being a close fight like O'Malley on. Which fight are you talking about? Why does everyone hate Ariel when he helps the UFC get more exposure? I mean, I personally don't like Ariel, but I don't like Ariel for integrity reasons. For years, Ariel pretended to be a real journalist. And meanwhile, he was taking checks from the UFC, okay? And you have to understand at this point in time, for me personally as a fan, it was very obvious that he was taking checks from the UFC. But he pretended to be kind of like this independent guy who's doing his own thing and he can criticize but there's no real criticisms here. And then I didn't mind it, but I just didn't like the disingenuous nature of it. And a lot of people who weren't paying close attention didn't realize that he was getting paid by the UFC. And then what happened was when he got banned by the UFC, then all of a sudden he started being highly critical of the UFC. A lot of his criticisms are just, but for me, it just looks like shit because, for all those years, you were just gobbling up the UFC. You were just being their glorified publicist. And I understand it. He was getting paid by them. He didn't want to upset anyone. Look at Dana. But then he gets fired and it just looks disingenuous to me. But outside of that, for me, I don't mind him. I don't hate him. I don't love him. I just can't forget that for me personally. But most of his criticisms are genuine, but now most people just think he's a UFC hater. And there is some criticisms that are off the wall that I think are crazy. Like, Jan Glover should have been the main event of this card. Nobody wanted to see that bullshit. Nobody wanted to see that bullshit. But basically, the other people who weren't around for that era, they hate Ariel Helwani because Dana doesn't like him. And they're just simps for Dana White. So, I mean, for me, Ariel hasn't done anything in years to dislike him, to be quite honest. He asks good questions. He does the best MMA interviews there is. And he's an interesting character. He's intelligent. He has well thought out thoughts. From what I've seen, I haven't watched a whole lot of him over the past few years, but the few times he's gone after people when I've watched these clips here and there, I think Ariel could get by as like a personality that's not doing interviews in the MMA sphere. But it's just a popular thing to hate him now. So, when was the last press conference you enjoyed? Probably Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, honestly. But I don't remember every press conference. But I'm just not a big fan of the little drama. Like, I know people like, oh yeah, this guy pushed they pushed each other at the stare down. Oh, these stare downs got real intense. That shit is just corny as hell. I liked in the past where they did those big summer press conferences where they had the main events for the next 3-4 months on stage. Agreed. What's up, Joey? I'm actually pretty pumped for Saturday. I'm excited. I'm not like crazy excited, but I'm excited. I'm thinking I'm going to stream the pay-per-view on Saturday. I honestly think I'm going to. I think there's going to be a lot of fun fights, and I might just jump on here. I skipped, last pay-per-view. I skipped a bunch of shitty fight night cards. I might stream on Saturday. And I'm doing the post-fight too, and it's just like sitting here for so many hours is crazy. I thought of this early, but how would Paddy versus Michael Johnson go? I would favor Michael Johnson at this point, honestly, as crazy as that sounds. I think the fighters are underpaid is overdone topic, but Dana's saying fighters are paid well because Ronda is rich is super dumb. How can it ever be an overdone topic? And how is it even remotely overdone? Because nobody even talks about it. Nobody that goes to any of the UFC events asks about it. So I don't understand how it's an overdone topic at any point. Nobody talks about it ever. Or barely anyone talks about it. So as we're getting closer to 282, more I am liking the card a lot more. It's a fun card. It's got some deep prelims on it. Not the craziest, nothing I'm like crazy excited for, but I'm looking forward to it. What fight are you most excited for? I am most excited for Ilia Topuria versus Bryce Mitchell. So, Thapa, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate your support. Thank you for joining. Pradeep. I wonder if this is some weird name. But nonetheless, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you very, very much for the support. I appreciate it. Haven't seen your name in the chat before, but nonetheless, man, thank you for your support. If anybody else wants to become a member, the link is in the description. Okay, back to where we were. And you get a bunch of extra benefits, bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff, extra live streams. The live stream from yesterday, or no, 2 days ago, where I talk about UFC 282 some more, is on the members tab. So there you go. I appreciate you, Thapa. Thank you for what you do. I appreciate you. Thank you for your support, my friend. I appreciate you becoming a member. Anybody else wants to become a member, the link is down below. It is $3. Okay, where were we at? Till looked like he didn't gaff. What fight are you most excited for? I already answered that. Tony outstrikes Paddy the entire fight to a win. I just don't know because Tony looked so bad in his last fight. It's hard. That friendly Paddy shit is corny to me. I'm not sure what specifically you're saying. What do they do with Paddy if he loses this weekend? Oh my God, it's the end of Paddy. They'll probably run a Jared Gordon rematch. Say it was a fluke. What's up, Keep Out? Paddy needs to know to keep his mouth shut. He made an embarrassment out of himself with the aerial situation. He's a high-level dick rider. That's the only thing he's high-level at, right? First time I saw or heard of Topuria was 264 against Ryan Hall. You beat him because I thought Ryan Hall was unbeatable with his jiu-jitsu. Yeah, he brutally beat him too. I think that this pay-per-view underperforms expectations because Glover Yuri. What's your prediction pertaining to pay-per-view numbers? It's not going to be good. It's going to be like max like 300,000, I would say. I mean, just imagine what Fiziev would do to Paddy. Dude's done after this fight. Feed him to Jalen Turner. Dude, Fiziev, oh my God. That's crazy. He would brutally KO him in the first round. I'm not even excited to see Paddy fight. I'd rather see Darren. I want to see him do well. And also that Bryce Ilia fight. And of course the title fight. Those are the fights I'd rather see before Paddy. Yeah, Paddy should be opening the card. Or Santiago versus Moreno. I low-key think the UFC finds a way to put Paddy in the rankings if he smokes Jarrett. That would be straight up egregious. With the 170, 185 tied up in rematches, who should Hamzat campaign to fight outside of Colby? Or should he just wait for 170? Colby or Bilal? Colby or Bilal? Why does the UFC keep putting 15-1 for Bryce, but says he's undefeated? I guess they're counting on the Ultimate Fighter. He got finished? Or Dana White's Contender Series? I can't even remember what it is at this point. I guess they're just counting that for some reason. I don't know why they keep calling him undefeated then if they're going to count it. Ilia Topuria versus Alexander Volkanovski. Who wins? Volkanovski at this point. Volkanovski's too good. I saw Shabazian's on the undercard. Why is he still in the UFC? He gasses after 2 minutes. I know why he's there. Ronda manages him. I don't even know if Ronda manages him anymore. I don't think he does. I think Ali manages him now. And he left Edmund Tarvarian's gym. Shabazian is good, though. He hasn't looked good, and his manager was doing him terrible matchmaking in his last few fights. But now he's got a new manager. He's with a new camp. Shabazian has very good skills. I see him being, I saw him for a while there being a top-ranked guy until he just got brutalized by Brunson and then gassed against Jack Hermanson and all that stuff. Bryce lost the Ultimate Fighter, but doesn't count on your MMA record. I know it's an exhibition, but maybe they're counting it for some reason. That's the only thing I can think of. That's the only thing I can think of. There is Smith about when Charles speaks, you get tuned in even though you don't know what he's saying. Yeah, Charles does grab your attention. Is Tony Ferguson still a ranked fighter? Would Paddy maybe call him out next? If Paddy calls out Tony Ferguson, I'm flying to wherever Paddy's at next week, and I'm sucker punching him. That would be such an embarrassment to call out Tony Ferguson's dead corpse. What are your thoughts about Bryce's attitude in the press conference? I thought it was kind of entertaining. He's a personality. Did you see there's 2 pay-per-views in March? That's dope. Yes, I'm actually probably going to make a video because UFC 286 is definitely going to be Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards. Honestly, I haven't even seen enough of Ariel to even know who he is. I really don't care enough to watch him. He does good interviews. That's it. I'm not a big interview guy anyway, so I don't watch him too much either. I just used to watch the MMA Beat, which was the best MMA show. Interesting. I really like that Ariel MMA Hour episode, Cook 'em with Volk. I did not watch it. I don't typically watch the MMA Hour. I'll catch like highlight clips on Twitter. Paddy will only give a low ranking if they give him a fight like they did with O'Malley. We'll see. Joe, would you buy this pay-per-view? Gregory Gillespie versus Tony Ferguson? No. I would not buy this pay-per-view. I believe you can get 7K subs before the end of the year. I think I will. And then I'm getting 10K before the 2-year anniversary. But who knows? Maybe we'll have a video blow up and I'll get 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and we'll get really close. Do you have Bryce or Topuria? I got Topuria by first round KO. I have a full breakdown and prediction on the channel. Speaking of subscribers, if there's anybody watching right now that's not subscribed, subscribe to the channel right this very second. Also, like this stream. That's what helps push it out to more people. And that's how more people can find it. Do you prefer O'Malley over Paddy? Up until this week, no, but probably now, yes. Also, Ronda didn't make good money in the UFC. She makes more money in WWE than she ever did in the UFC. I'm not sure, but I'll take your word for it. Thank you for what you do. Again, thank you for becoming a member. Thapa, I appreciate the support. Robbie Lawler versus Tony Ferguson. I think that makes sense. Why has Pedro Munoz not fought? Sugar Sean put him out for like 6 months. I don't know. I guess, I don't know. I just wanted some time off. Opinion on Ariel versus Pimblett beef. Watch my live chat from last night. I go in depth for it, about 20 minutes long. It's like 5 minutes into my stream from the live chat. Comment on it. Make sure you go watch it. I go in depth about 20 minutes on it. So you can watch it again. It's the last live stream on my channel. It's, you know, live chat, whatever live chat it was, I'll tell you right now. But it's titled Ariel versus Pimblett. It is live chat 86. Paddy Pimblett versus Ariel, UFC 282, and the TJ Dillashaw retirement. So you can find my in-depth thoughts there. I'm not going to rehash it right now, but Paddy embarrassed himself. I'll tell you that much. Doesn't make any sense they didn't count his exhibition win, but they counted his exhibition loss. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a mistake. Surprise stream tonight. Thank you, Mario. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Is there a chance the earth is really flat if Bryce wins? Sure. Joey after sucker punching Paddy, I gave him a 3-piece with a soda. Yeah. Do I think Paddy's anti-Semitic? I don't know, man. There's nothing that tells me that. Just because he's saying, you know, if you're talking about the speak English thing, I just think that's a dumb look and a dumb take that a lot of people have. But I think anti-Semitic has to do with religion, if I'm not mistaken. So, unless there's something I don't know about, then no. Hey, what's up, Joey? Hope you are good, man. I am doing good. Hope you're good as well, Benji. What's up, Jacob? Saying like the stream. Appreciate you, my friend. If you met Paddy in person, what's the first thing you say? I don't know, man. I probably wouldn't talk to him. I don't want to harass these like D-list celebrities, aka UFC fighters. So I don't know. I don't know what I would ask him. I'd ask him, why won't you fight Ilia Topuria? That's what I would ask him. Do you actually buy the pay-per-views or do you stream them all like us peasants? I've bought every single pay-per-view I've ever watched. I'm not dealing, regardless of how much money you can save, I'm not dealing with any issues watching a pay-per-view. It's just not worth the inconvenience for me. Do you think Chandler's bigger draw now than Masvidal? If so, why do you think Masvidal doesn't want to fight him? Why do I think Chandler's a bigger draw than Masvidal? No. But Chandler's, I mean, people tune into Chandler fights. But Masvidal doesn't want to fight him because Masvidal thinks he's entitled to something that he's not. Basically. So, who do you think ends up fighting John Jones in March? Francis. I'm betting Francis. It needs to be Francis. There's no other option there. I haven't missed a single pay-per-view since UFC 267. I haven't missed a single pay-per-view. I don't remember what the number was, but it's been a long while. And I've only ever missed one since I started hardcore watching, like the end of 2010. What was the last pay-per-view you missed? Mine was 240. All right, I'll look it up for you real quick. It was a garbage pay-per-view. The last pay-per-view I missed was UFC 206. It was a garbage pay-per-view. It ended up being all right, actually, when it happened, but on paper it was garbage. There was a late notice replacement. I didn't really care that much. And normally I wouldn't miss a pay-per-view to go to work, but I went to work. I was getting paid good and I wasn't doing anything. So I missed the pay-per-view just to go work because it was a terrible pay-per-view. And I was like, I'll just watch it later. So that's the last pay-per-view I missed. It was Max Holloway, Anthony Pettis. And the pay-per-view itself was just, I mean, it's as bad as it looks now. But actually live, it didn't actually suck. That's funny because I think UFC 240 was a Max Holloway pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken, too. UFC's other golden child, Chandler, begged for the Conor fight and he got it. He hasn't got it yet. He doesn't got it yet. Early prediction in that fight, I got Chandler. I lean Conor. I think Conor probably starts as Chandler in that. Especially coming off PEDs or on PEDs. Chandler's just too chinny. McGregor's too accurate and too powerful. I mean, Chandler could win, but he's not going to wrestle. He's just not. It's just not in his nature to go out there and wrestle. So I would see a first round KO for Conor. And it's going to look beautiful too. He's going to duck out of the way, lean out of the way, some hooks. Boom, straight left right on the chin of Chandler and just put him right to sleep. Chandler's taken so much damage, in the last few years and just over the course of his MMA career. So I think O'Malley and Paddy are similar. The UFC just gives them an easy path to the rankings and then they make them fight against a ranked opponent hoping to get a controversy win. Maybe. Did you see the UFC's coming to Texas again March 25th? Hopefully the main event is good. I did. I saw that in the Discord right before I got on. I hope it's good. Are you going to go to it or what? Looks like there's going to be a fight night in San Antonio in 2023. Yes, there is. Francis knocks out Jones. It'll be interesting for sure. Only difference is O'Malley doesn't hate the juice. Haven't missed a pay-per-view since I started watching MMA, UFC 252. That is crazy to me that you're such a new fan. I can't imagine not have watching for all these years. The last time Conor had a win, you were literally like, you were still swimming. The last time Conor McGregor had a lightweight win, French fries was still swimming around in his daddy's ball sack. That's how long since Conor's got a lightweight win and how new of French fries is a fan. Yeah, 206 was supposed to be Rumble DC2, but they made it Pettis Holloway for the interim title. I knew it was a fight cancellation. The card just wasn't good on paper at all. What's up, homework? Does Conor get the Islam fight with one win over Chandler? I don't know if Conor wants that. I don't know if he's going to want that, to be quite honest. But he could. If he wants it, he can get it. And the UFC may make it because that's a massive fight. So I'll say yes. Swanson Doi Hoi Choi was that one. I remember watching it live. Yeah, that was a crazy fight. It's actually inducted into the fight wing of the UFC Hall of Fame. But it is what it is. It was a meaningless fight at the time, so I'm not like disturbed that I missed it at all. So let's see. Where are we at here? Okay. UFC 283 is the worst card since a very long time. You forgetting about 279? Did you watch the press conference? Yes, I went over it in the beginning of this stream. It was okay, but I'm not a big fan of press conferences anyway. On second thought, I agree. Chandler's fight IQ up there with Holland. Just won a brawl. Yeah. Is your superpower remembering UFC events and matches? Maybe. I'm pretty good at it. I've just been watching for so long, and for some reason I remember them for no reason. How many times does the healthy Conor fight in 2023? I think Conor fights max once next year. If the main event sucks, probably not going to go. Please, not a women's fight. Oh my God. Can you imagine you get like some bullshit Alexa Grasso fight? I'd be pissed. Last time Conor got a lightweight win, I was in elementary school. That is straight up wild. That is really wild. I'm trying to think something that would be interesting. Think about it. Think about this. Last time Conor got a lightweight win, I was 5 years away from starting my YouTube channel. That's how crazy that is. 5 years away from ever starting this channel here. I can't stand when the UFC is a women's fight as a main event. It depends what it is, but there's very few that should be a main event. Joey, are you more of a Khabib fan or a Conor fan? I love Khabib, so I'm more of a Khabib fan. It's a little bit sad to watch Darren Till without Hamzat, considering the fact Darren was with him in his last 2 fights. Okay, I didn't notice that they weren't together, but all right. The first pay-per-view I watched was 135, Jones Rampage. I was like 8 or 9 at my grandma's house watching it with my oldest cousins. I remember that. Do you remember Jones came out in like a squatted stance? Do you remember that from that card? Jones came out in like a squatted stance for a while. Like he stayed in the squatted stance. And Rampage was like, what the hell? That's right around. I mean, that's like maybe a year after I started watching. I started watching at UFC 114. I'm surprised the journalists actually did their job this time and tried to instigate beef. I don't really feel like they did try. The last time, nobody even asked Paddy Pimblett, would you fight Topuria in his next fight if he wins this fight? Nobody even asked him that. Joe, do you think Paddy's actually a good guy, or he tries too hard to show people he is? I don't know. I think he doesn't know how to deal with this fame. He's young and he doesn't know how to deal with the attention he's getting. Last time Conor got a lightweight win, I had a normal hairline. Now I have the Neil Magny hairline. That's embarrassing. That's crazy. I'm trying to think something. I want to say last time Conor got a lightweight win, I didn't even have a beard, but I did. So there's nothing I got here. Yeah. Okay, where are we at? Till is going to get crushed. I'm still upset about that Neil Magny hairline that you got, Derek. Till's going to get crushed, in my opinion. What are your thoughts? I think Till brutalizes him. Dricus, people, like, there's a cult of people telling me I'm an idiot, and maybe I look like an idiot, but I think Dricus' striking is god-awful. And I think Till's going to slide out of the way, hit him with a right-hand jab, and then just, boom, crack him with a left straight, hurt him, and then swarm him and finish him. And there's going to be some desperation shots from Dricus. And maybe Till quits on the ground. I could see Till getting taken down and quitting on the ground, though. Will Conor's next fight be a pay-per-view main event? Yes, but it should not. I agree that it should not, but it will be. What fighter would you want to meet past or present? I don't know. I feel weird like meeting people like that. So I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what I'd say to him, to be honest. So I can't really give an answer to that one. If Darren Till wins, who do you think he fight next? I don't know. I kind of want to see him fight Kevin Holland, but Kevin Holland's at welterweight now. If Till wins, he's right back in the mix. If Till wins, match him up with Roman Dolidze. Match him up with Roman Dolidze. I'd like to see that. How crazy if Roman Dolidze takes advantage of the opportunity. Ranked number 8 now. Whew. Well, yes, everyone was confused. Even Rogan was like, what is he doing? Yup. I think Rampage even might have thrown a kick for a second. What's next for Till if he loses? Probably one more fight and then he's done for. John Jones is the GOAT. His resume is unmatched. Yeah. I remember being so hyped to watch Rampage fight Rashad, then Rashad just wrestle effed him. I was so mad. Shout out to Spike TV. Yeah, I remember that was the first pay-per-view I ever ordered, I ever watched live, and it was garbage. I mean, I remember thinking, oh, there was all this excitement, and it was terrible. I'll never forget though. What was his name? Todd Duffy versus Mike Russo. And Todd Duffy was like this steroid-ridden, just jacked superhero type. And Mike Russo was just like this kind of chubby cop guy who looked like he didn't even belong in there and went out there and KO'd Todd Duffy. It was hilarious. I was saying it was heavyweight versus overweight at the time. I was laughing my ass off. They're probably going to put Derek Lewis as a main event because he's from Texas. Please, no. Paddy always looks like he's glowing with that hair. Okay. So you think Paddy beats Gordon? Paddy looked a lot bigger? Yes, Paddy beats Gordon. Joe, what is the best compliment you can give to a fighter you hate watching? I don't know. I can't. There's too many layers to that question. I have to figure out who I was thinking of. You're sleeping on Duplessis. His style is ugly, but he's very powerful. I never said he wasn't powerful. I'm not sleeping on him. But I think his striking is god awful. You have to land to take advantage of that power. Really interesting take on Till. Yeah, I'm very confident in Till win this fight. And if Till loses this one, I'm never picking him again. So, the UFC still has Conor and Tony ranked in the top 15. It's disturbing. I got money on Till. He better pull through. I think he's a way better striker. He is. Joe, would you be surprised that Ariel made more in his career by covering MMA than actual MMA fighters? Sure, he doesn't earn money from YouTube, but he's getting money somewhere. Joe, would you be surprised? I mean, it depends what fighters you're talking about. But yeah, I mean, he's not a YouTuber. He's paid to cover the sport. Companies seek him out to pay him to cover the sport, whether that be interviews, whether that be opinions. And he makes damn good money for sure. Hey, Joe, what are your thoughts on MMA Guru? I really don't have any thoughts on him. I mean, he's a successful MMA YouTuber. So we can all, stride to be successful. From what I see, he has a cult-like following a bit. I mean, people are always asking about him 24/7. But to be honest, I've only seen bits and pieces here. And that's really all I can say about it. So, Rosenstrike gets KO of the night. Yeah, I'm confident Rosenstrike pulls through. Joey, I want Till to win, but can you hear the excuses already with not seeing his newborn baby and his eye injury? Yeah, I can hear the excuses already. What in the hell was up with Gordon wearing a Supreme Box logo like he's Rice Gum in 2016? I'm not even sure what that means. So, what do you think? Who do you think Darren Till's late notice replacement is? I don't know. Maybe they cancel Chris Curtis versus Joaquin Buckley and they throw in Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis would take that fight. Shit, last time Conor got a win, the UFC had a female ref. Shout out to Kate Winslow. Whatever happened to Kate Winslow? Do you think Josh Emmett has any chance against Yair Rodriguez? Yes, he does. He could wrestle him. Yair's wrestling is suspect. Till was on his phone the whole presser. Till looked kind of rough. Like he's been drinking or something. I don't know. Looked kind of rough. Just didn't look like a normal Darren Till. But dude's been through a lot of injuries. So. Who knows? Long layoff, lots of injuries. That's a recipe for disaster. What are your thoughts on fighters forming a union? If there was a human union formed, do you think the benefit fighters on the bottom or the top of the card? I think it would benefit everyone overall. I think they probably should, but they never will. And the UFC will spend lots of money to ensure they never will. And also just based on it being kind of a solo sport, and it's like almost every man for himself, kind of. I don't see if you can ever get the group of fighters, enough of them on the same side to pull it off. I just took Curtis and Topuria parlay. I'm a big fan of their opponents, sadly. Well, there you go. You shouldn't be disappointed either way. Lightweight matchmaking. I think I did one of those recently. So, I think I did one of those recently. But what specifically are you asking? I mean, we kind of know. There's a lot of matchups already made in the division anyway. Yeah. Why isn't Curtis Blades versus Gane booked? Winner of that solid fight, the winner of Jones Francis, presuming the fight between them occurs. I don't know. That's what I'd like to see. I've been campaigning for that fight for a bit. That's the fight to make. I want to see Gane's wrestling tested again. You know, the way he looked in that Ngannou fight, I don't know if he can beat Curtis Blades. Is it sad to know that fighters start making more money? There's more competitive between organizations in the sport, starting to turn more like boxing. I mean, I don't know. That's a hypothetical. I can't really say what would actually happen. Do you think they might book Gane versus Pavlovich instead? That'd be an amazing fight. So they may. I wouldn't mind seeing it either. I would love to see a program where if somebody fights like 15 times, they should get some form of long-term health insurance through the UFC. Yeah, the UFC's definitely got to work on that type of stuff. When they're asked about it, they say, "Oh, we've been working on that. We've been working on that for many of years. We've been working on that for many of years," and there's no real substance behind it. And basically, it's just horseshit. So I would like to see a day where that happens. Who knows if it actually happens? But it would be nice. It would be nice. It's just sad. These guys take a lot of damage and a lot of injury and a lot of wear and tear on their bodies, and they face injuries that might affect them 10, 15 years down the line when the UFC is no longer willing to pay for it. I mean, it's a shitty career choice, to be quite honest. As much as I love this sport and we all love this sport, going out there and taking wear and tear on your body and taking brain damage, it's not a wise career choice, especially when you're not making life-changing money. You know, to go out there for 12-12. Okay, maybe once that's okay, but you're going out there for 12-12 and you win half your fights, you lose half your fights, and you barely make a normal salary for a year. You fight 3 times. Let's say you make 24 grand, or no, not 24 grand, 36 grand in a year. I mean, that's, depending on where you live, that's basically poverty right there. You know, based on where you live, it might be an okay salary in some places. And to take brain damage and you don't even get health insurance long term. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm sure there's smart people that could figure something out. But what's going on right now, I don't think is good enough. I would love to see Paddy sleep Ilia, though. I think Paddy would get slept by Ilia. What are the chances of UFC matchmaking Paddy and Ferguson to ease Paddy in the lightweight rankings? 20% chance, and I don't like to even think of it. Paddy's a little snake in the grass. Yeah. This seems to be more of a catchweight these days. More catchweights these days. Yeah, I think UFC will just do it sometimes to keep fights together. Pavlovich might even KO Gon. It's very possible. Pavlovich has looked better than ever. But I would slightly lean Cyril Gane right now. Some people, that's all they can do to provide, no other skills. It's really unfortunate. Do you think Paddy was bullshitting about grappling Gordon? I don't know if he's blatantly lying, but it seemed like it. But maybe he's just misremembering something. You know, he's mixing somebody else up. I don't know. Or maybe Jared Gordon's forgotten. But knowing that Paddy Pimblett was exposed for being a pathological liar early or this week, I'm going to take Jared Gordon's side. I cannot believe the power slap got approved. I can't believe. I hope that shit just fails into obscurity. I mean, who even gives a shit? If you're watching Power Slap, whatever the hell it's called, League, shame on you. Shame. Your family should disown you. Who cares about that dumb shit? Do you think winner of Bryce Topuria is going to face Arnold Allen to be the next contender? I want the winner to fight Movsar Evloev. Both of them had fights scheduled with Movsar, and unfortunately, in both those instances, Movsar pulled out. We were supposed to see Movsar versus Topuria at UFC 270 in January, so almost a year ago. And then in November, we were supposed to see Bryce versus Movsar, and that fight got canceled as well. So I'd like to see the winner of Bryce versus Topuria fight Movsar, and the winner of that fight is getting very close to title contention, in my opinion. Gordon seemed to be honest one. Maybe Paddy's a big bullshitter after the aerial stuff. That's what I lean to believe. That's what I lean to believe. It's not looking particularly great for Paddy, in my opinion. It doesn't look real good. The body language looked as if he was lying. He felt weird about it. But maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. We'll see. Well, we may never find out, to be honest. Yeah, go Jared Gordon. I don't think Jared Gordon's going to pull it off. I really don't think he's going to, unfortunately. After this week, I think a lot of people are rooting against Paddy. I wonder if you butchered the spelling, but I know it. Oh, never mind. We'll watch. I don't even know who this is. I thought you were asking a question about Ponzinibbio. Bilal said he was at the gym and Paddy and Jared didn't roll. Very interesting. Where'd you see that at? Let me look that up. Where'd you see that at? I would like to see it. I'm looking for it. Maybe it's on Twitter. Maybe it's on Twitter. No, I don't see nothing. So you have to fill me in on where that's at. Okay, where were we? No. Paddy's trash talk suck. I was expecting funnier. Yeah, it wasn't very good. It wasn't very good. He didn't really say anything super interesting. Where do you predict Gamrot goes next? I mean, he's probably gonna have a big fight. Not a big fight, but it's gonna be a fun fight. If I was the UFC, I'd book him against maybe a Jalen Turner. I'd like to see him versus Jalen Turner. Sarukian's fighting Demir, so he could fight the loser of that fight. I wouldn't even mind seeing him fighting Sarukian again. That's one of my favorite fights of this year. So, yeah, any of those. Joey, there's a possibility we see Gaethje versus Paddy in March in UK. No, Paddy in the UFC would never book that fight in 1.5 million years. Gaethje would brutalize Paddy Pimblett badly. Paddy's cringe. He was cringe at the presser for sure. Bilal's Twitter. Let me check it out. Dude, Paddy's just digging his own grave. Bilal Muhammad. Let's see. Paddy never tapped Jared. I was there. Well, the fact that he said never tapped him, does that mean they rolled though? Did they roll though? I would like to know that. But that's embarrassing. That's very embarrassing. If you have a couple people come out supporting Jared Gordon. Did you know Hamzat has a YouTube channel, and have you seen it? Somebody told me about it, but I have not really seen it. The trash talk of O'Malley's bullshit considering his last press conference. I mean, he's never been a good trash talker. Joe, were you most hyped or disappointed? Were you hyped or disappointed when they showed events for next year? A little bit. I mean, I wasn't either. I was indifferent almost. I mean, there's not any like big event that's on the schedule that I'm super excited for, but I am looking forward to fights that aren't announced, like 286, which is going to be Usman, Leon Edwards. I'm hoping 285 is John Jones, Francis Ngannou. So I would love all that. But what's scheduled right now? I'm most excited for 284 Volk versus Islam. That's a solid card. But there's nothing that's just got me blown away by next year currently. That's currently booked. But there's some hypotheticals that we kind of know are going to happen that I'm very excited for. Ankalaev radiates modest alpha male injury. Okay. What's the biggest name Paddy can beat? I don't even know. He could probably beat Tony Ferguson. Paddy the daddy's boy? Yeah, I guess so. How would Paddy's ego be if he got broken down by Jarrett and he wins by decision by a landslide? That'd be hilarious. What about Paddy and RDA? RDA would smash Paddy. He would brutalize Paddy. Paddy would have nothing for RDA. It'd actually be an embarrassment. Why am I thinking Paddy should have brought a hand sanitizer bottle and he would have just thrown it at Topuria? That'd have been interesting. So far, there isn't any bad fight nights next year. That's good. Yeah, I wish they would have announced fights like Francis, Jones, Usman, Leon, Hamzat, Colby, or Bilal. All that sounds amazing. I love all those ideas. Hopefully, they get booked very soon. Yeah, I wish I would have announced fights instead of like, okay, read that. Love Bryce and rooting for him this weekend. But have you ever thought about explaining to him about Earth not being flat? Yeah, dude, I don't think he's gonna buy it, honestly. You could take him up on a rocket ship and he could see it for himself. Dude, he's not the smartest. He's a very funny character. I'm happy he's in the UFC. Just because he's this interesting, authentic character. But yeah, Bryce isn't particularly the brightest. Will we have any African champions at the end of next year? Your prediction? Yes. I think Izzy and Usman get their belts back. I hope UFC books Pavlovich versus Blades. Gane has to be the backup for Ngannou Jones. Yeah, but you can book Gane versus Pavlovich as the co-main event to Ngannou Jones. I want Ngannou versus Jones and Nunes versus someone for a co-main, or put 3 titles cards. Okay. Did you listen to the podcast with Paddy and your boy Dana? I only saw the clip of Paddy talking mad shit. I did not watch the podcast. I couldn't sit through that, dude. What do I look like? A superhero? I can't sit through that garbage. I'm telling you, I don't have the attention span to watch almost anyone's podcast, let alone Paddy Pimblett and Dana White. You start watching Paddy Pimblett and Dana White, that's a slippery slope. Next thing you know, you're going to be watching some of these garbage MMA channels that we've talked about in the past. Some of these dying, terrible MMA channels that we've talked about in the past. Joey, you don't like Paddy's chances in top 15. How is he going to be a star? I mean, he's already popular, but unless he can win at an elite level, he's not going to be this huge star. You need the personality along with the wins. Bryce isn't dumb. He's just nuts. I think those go hand in hand. I think he's crazy, but I also think he's very, very stupid as well. Can you imagine a fantasy reality Khabib fights Paddy? That's probably the only pay-per-view I would buy. Okay. I mean, Khabib would smash him badly. I still think Paddy gets it done, but Jarrett is live here. Paddy is the moment winner versus Jarrett the minute winner. Regardless, give me Paddy by sub. Yeah, I think I picked Paddy by sub as well. I agree. Who do you like more, Paddy or Sean? It was Paddy, but after this week, I don't know. I feel like I like Sean more. Paddy was on his knees, yeah, for Dana. He was just on his knees, just lapping up Dana White and telling him, I love you, Dana. I hate everyone you think that you don't like either. That's some bitch shit if I ever seen it. Actually, really embarrassing, to be honest. To be quite honest. Embarrassing showing for Paddy Pimblett. Guys, do me a favor. If you have not already liked this stream, scroll down, click the thumbs up button, like the stream. I would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. Somehow we have 30 likes. We have 85 people in the chat. We have 30 likes. How is that even possible? How is that even possible? Shame on you. Shame on you. So scroll down and like the stream. Please, please, please. It helps the channel. Guys, you got to do it every stream. You got to do it every video. You got to do that. Where are we at? Okay, read that. Paddy was on his knees. I think Ankalaev's title reign is going to be long and boring like Hadesanya's. Okay, we'll see. We'll see, but I think you might be right. But I don't know about boring. When you're fighting the likes of Yuri Prohaska. Hey, Joey, I'm here. What's up? Joey, thoughts on Paddy saying he would give Islam a tougher fighter than Charles? Lol. I think Paddy would probably get KO'd immediately. Bryce is winning. We'll see. I know you predict Paddy, but are you rooting for Gordon? After this week, yes. Before I was rooting for Paddy, but now I'm rooting for Gordon, but I don't think he'll pull it off. Hey, Joey, what's up, Jordan? RDA versus McGregor is more interesting than Michael Chandler. McGregor. Chandler would take a step down. Fight an upcoming contender. I mean, I like both fights, honestly, but I don't think McGregor's going to want that RDA smoke. Forgot the like, no issue. Is Joe Rogan going to be at this UFC? Yes. This UFC is in Las Vegas, I'm pretty sure. So the answer to your question is yes. Yes, yes, yes. Dana will be there. I mean, not Dana. Joe Rogan will be there. So thoughts on MMA surviving as a sport if all the champs are heavy wrestler? It'll be just fine. It'll be just fine. I mean, how would it not survive? not like wrestling's boring. When guys take guys down and smash them, it's interesting. People would just evolve and start stuffing takedowns better, work on the wrestling. Would you have been okay with Pereira had gone up to 205 title, and how would have done versus Jan or Ankalaev? It'd been interesting. I think he loses to Jan and Ankalaev, but it would have been interesting. But no, I wouldn't have wanted him to go up. I wanted him to see fight out of signing the rematch. In this press conference, Danny didn't say that Glover's going to be the next contender. Just told media they're going to wait and see if Yuri can fight soon. Now, he basically said Glover's next. He said Glover's next. Joey, but he said Yuri will fight for a title whenever he comes back. But he thinks it'll be at least one more fight. So Glover will get the next title shot. Joey, they should book Holloway versus Allen for co-main event of UFC 286. I know people are going to Colby and Hamzat to fight. Yeah, I want to see Holloway versus Allen too. I agree. It doesn't need to be co-main event. Featured fight on the card, honestly. Do you think Ankalaev will be a popular champ with U.S. casuals? No. People are going to hate on him and say he's terrible and he's boring and he's. I don't want him as a champion. Yuri was a better champion and cry about it. Any chance UFC signs Eddie Alvarez? No, I don't think so. I think they're done with him. You know, he got beat up plenty in the UFC. Went over to one, got beat up a bunch, and I don't think we'll see him anymore in the UFC. To be honest, if I was a kid, I'd like Power Slap. Now I realize it's free brain damage. Yeah, I'm not watching that shit. I hope nobody watches it. I hope it goes away in like 6 months. You think Bryce and Curtis have a good chance at dogs? I think Curtis wins. Bryce has a chance, but I doubt it's doubtful. I think he has to drown Topuria if he beats him. Would you be okay with a shitty pay-per-view and main card John Jones versus Gane? Yeah. I'd be alright with that. What if Paddy gets knocked out cold? It'd be hilarious. If Paddy wins, the gobbling between Paddy, Dana, and Rogan will be insane. That's true. Bryce thinks the earth is flat. Thoughts? I think Bryce is an idiot. If Colby doesn't fight Hamzat, would you want to see Colby Bilal? If Colby ain't fighting Hamzat, I want Colby cut. I want Colby cut. Do you think Ilia or Bryce will win? Ilia. I got Ilia. I got full breakdown. Listen, guys. I don't mind answering at all, but listen. Just for after the stream, you go to my channel right now. Go to my main page. I have a playlist for UFC 282. Raul Rosas Jr., Jay Perrin, breakdown and prediction. Okay? Jan Blachowicz, Magomed Ankalaev prediction. Paddy Pimblett, Jared Gordon prediction. Darren Till, Dracus Duplessis prediction. Bryce Mitchell, Ilia Topuria prediction. Is UFC 282 worth your money? Reasons I love UFC 282. Reasons I hate UFC 282. And a video about Yuri getting his belt taken away. So the playlist is easy to find. It's on the channel. All the UFC 282 content you could ever want. All my in-depth breakdowns and predictions. Go watch them after this stream. What are your sources telling you about Jon Jones? Jon Jones will fight at UFC 285 in March in Las Vegas. Joey, what do you think about the views for the embedded and countdown? I have not looked at it at all, so you're going to have to fill me in. What particular about it? Are they doing good? Are they doing bad? What is it? Holloway should move up to lightweight, though. He won't get another title shot at featherweight for a while, and he cuts hella weight. Well, if Volk stays at lightweight, if he wins and stays at lightweight, then Holloway should stay at featherweight. So I think he's waiting and seeing. I think he's going to wait and see. Damn, I recently hit 100,000 hours of watch time. That is wild. That is straight up crazy. I just seen it as a new achievement on my homepage. 100,000 hours of watch time. That's nuts. That is straight up nuts. I'm almost to from what I understand, I'm almost to 1.2 million views. Yeah, I'm at 1.2 million views, guys, on the channel. That's straight up wild. Now all we gotta do is get to 10,000 subs. So Do that. I know there's got to be a couple people watching who's not subscribed. I'll be streaming twice tomorrow. I'll be doing a UFC 282 pre-fight stream, and then I'll be doing a Bellator stream tomorrow evening. So subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. I do these streams all the time. I'll be streaming Friday. I'll be streaming Saturday. I streamed Wednesday. I streamed Thursday, and I streamed Tuesday. So yeah. Holloway should... Okay, read that. Remember when they did Glover versus Jan free pay-per-view? Why no free pay-per-views this year? This one would have been perfect one. Lames, man. They were originally supposed to have 2 pay-per-views in October. And that probably... There would have been a free one in there, probably. But they canceled it. UFC 280 was originally supposed to be 281. And then there was supposed to be a UFC 280 in the beginning of October. I thought Usman and Edwards were fighting in March. They are. There's 2 pay-per-views in March. There's one in early March, and then there's one like 2 weeks later in the middle of March. The views are bad compared to other events. It can't even hit 1 million. Yeah, I don't think this pay-per-view is going to do very well anyway. So that doesn't surprise me. Is it safe to take Jon Jones to Vegas? He needs to fight in Alaska. It's probably not safe, but what else are they going to do? What else are they going to do? I don't know what the answer to that is. So, he will fight in Vegas. Joe, I think Colby Hamza are not going to fight at UFC 286. It's too big of a fight for a co-main. I think it needs to be. I think it needs to be a co-main. I think it will be. The UFC will want it there in case they need a backup for the main event. Or if they need to reschedule the main event, they can bump that up to main event. What are your thoughts on Ali Abdelaziz? He seems like a fraud to me. I would never sign with him if I was a fighter. He works with the UFC. Yeah, there's definitely some unethical business practices going on with Ali. Okay, I already read that. Yeah. I mean, I think he works a lot of the time on the behalf of the UFC. But it is what it is. Apparently a lot of fighters love him to death. They love him to death. They wouldn't trade him for the world. So, it's interesting. I'm wondering if one day he'll fizzle out. But it doesn't seem like it. It does not seem like it. When's the last time? Okay. Okay. They pay him under the table. Wouldn't surprise me. Joe, you're going to say the UFC is going to make Francis Jones and Usman Edwards in 1 month? I call cap. I'm very confident in it. So, Angel Valdavinos, UFC, listen. Per sources, breaking news, UFC 285 main event, Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones for the UFC heavyweight title. 2 weeks later, UFC 286, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3 for the welterweight title. 2 huge pay-per-views, only a few weeks apart in March of 2023. That is what I'm hearing right now per sources. Somebody clip that out so when we find out in like a month that to be the truth, we have that clip because that's accurate right there. That's going to happen. Yeah, the card doesn't have the biggest names. Agreed. You want the weighing in merch for Christmas? Nah, I want the Brahma Bull shoes for Christmas. Gotta rock those, man. When they had the UFC card name on the screen, it just said Jan versus Magomed. It felt so empty. Yeah, Jan versus Magomed is nothing crazy. I mean, I'm interested in the fight, but it's nothing that's going to blow your socks off. And the casuals aren't going to care about it. What do you think is the next non-title pay-per-view? It's going to be either Hamzat Colby or Conor versus Michael Chandler. I enjoy this card. It's deep, but pissed that Yuri Glover 2 got canceled. I think it'll still be a good card. Agreed. Source Paddy Pimblett. I thought it was funny when Ali called Conor out for steroids while he's representing Kamaru. Conor's definitely wrote it up, but still can't throw in stones. Yeah, but we have evidence that Conor's on PEDs. Did you hear the Bryce Mitchell song? No. My boy Sergey deserves it more than Jones, to be fair, but people just want to see Ngannou KO Jones. Ngannou versus John Jones has to happen. It absolutely, positively has to happen. Would you be mad if you fight at MSG and only get paid 12 and have to pay your trainer's manager and still have to pay your rent? UFC has to generate enough money to pay these dudes at least $25K. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not an occupation I'd want for $12K. But what more can you do? I don't know. Yeah, but I think the lowest level of pay is far too low. I think they like paying these fighters starvation wages, so they don't want, because if you make too much, if you're rich, if you're too rich, I mean, listen, if you're pumping me full of millions of dollars, the last thing I'm gonna want to do is fist fight. I'll tell you that much right now. I got millions of dollars in the bank. I ain't fist fighting. I'll tell you that much right now. So I think they're trying to keep them poor because otherwise you're not going to have a lot of fighters probably. Imagine they put Conor Chandler, Hamzat Colby, same pay-per-view. I don't see any pay-per-view topping it in buys next year or this year. I would love it. I would love it. But not going to happen. Which is unfortunate for sure. I wonder if Conor Chandler actually ends up happening. I think it will. But you never know. I don't know if Conor's going to want that fight, man. I don't know if Conor is going to want that fight. I mean, I know he's on PEDs. But whew. Well, what am I thinking right now? What was I just talking about? Does he want that fight against Chandler? I don't know what I was thinking there, to be honest. I was mixing something up. I was thinking about Colby doesn't want that fight, but then I started talking about Conor on PD, so I made no sense. I think that's what I was doing there. I'm getting a little bit tired. We're only going to go for a little bit longer. I believe Usman Edwards 3 is going to happen, but I don't think Francis Jones. Doubt it. Would be surprised if UFC puts a vacant belt and do Gone. No, Jones versus someone is happening. I think the UFC and John Jones has already come to terms. So John Jones will fight someone for a heavyweight belt. It's just a matter of whether or not it's Francis Ngannou or not. Who's making the most this weekend? Just you guessing? If I had to guess, who's getting the biggest paycheck this Saturday? Probably Jan Blachowicz, just because he's a former champ. Yeah, I'll say Jan Blachowicz. Then probably Darren Till. Then probably Paddy. Something along those lines, if I had to guess. If I had to guess, that's what I'd probably go with. Just because Jan's the former champ, he probably has a decent contract. Darren's been around for a while. He's probably got a decent contract. Paddy's popular, but I don't feel like the UFC's probably paying him what he's worth just yet. So, something along those lines. I don't think Magomed's getting big, hefty paychecks yet. Jared Gordon's probably getting 12 grand at this point. Ponzinibbio and Moreno, nor Bryce or Ilia are making more than Till or Blachowicz, in my opinion. If Francis John happens, you going to bet on John straight and edge it with Francis with round 1 KO? No. But I think that's a good idea. You think Topuria will run through Metro or will be a close decision fight? I think Topuria KOs him in the first round. Paddy going to make more than Magomedov? Maybe. I don't know if he got a new contract or not yet. So maybe. It's 50-50. If John Jones can survive the first round with Francis, I think he's going to win. I think he has to survive 2 rounds with Francis. And they have to be, he's kind of got to make him work in those 2 rounds too. So wear him down, if that makes sense. But that's going to be a very interesting fight. It's going to be one of the most hype I've been for a fight. And literally, I mean, I mean, Islam Charles, I was really hyped for. But John Jones, I think John Jones versus Francis is on a little bit of another level over Islam versus Charles. And that would be the most hyped I've been in a long, long time. Keep thinking Jay Perrin will beat Real, 29-year-old losing to a senior in high school. Yeah, I think Jay Perrin may very well win. I picked Raul Rosas Jr. I think Jay Perrin can win. Hopefully Hamzat corners Darren Till. We will see. I don't even know. Is Hamzat in Vegas right now? Would you quit your job for Jones versus Francis fight? Yes. 100%. And I'm glad you would as well. Because if you wouldn't, then you ain't a real fan. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you that much. Let me X out all these tabs. I don't need any of these tabs. Guys, if you have not yet, do me a favor. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MMA Joey C. I just put it in the chat. Go follow me. My goal next year is to get to 1,000 followers on both Twitter and Instagram. That's a goal I want to have. Is Jim Miller going to fight at UFC 300? No. What are your favorite hard drugs? Crystal meth for sure. I think Rosas will keep winning until they face him with Guido Canetti. Dude, could you imagine? Imagine John Jones in Venom gear. Holy shit. That's crazy. Hasn't fought for the whole Venom gear saga just yet. John Jones staring across from Francis Ngannou. Can you imagine the feelings? That'd be nuts. Think Darren Till can pull off the upset against Strikeus du Plessis? Yeah, I'm confident that Darren Till wins. I'm pretty confident in Darren Till in this fight. I picked him. I think he wins. I think he's the way better fighter than Dricus. I think for some people, for some reason, people are very high on Dricus du Plessis. All three of his UFC fights were competitive. He's never looked particularly amazing. I know he's gotten finishes, but hasn't looked particularly amazing in those fights. So, I'm going Darren Till. Always a good night when Joey is streaming. Thank you, John Mundy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really hope Bryce wins. I love the personality. Such a stand-up dude. Very interesting. He's a very interesting dude. So I know what you mean. You just want kind of the funny character to win. Well, Darren Till getting killed in there is the time to bet the farm on the guy he is fighting to win. Okay, fair enough. Hey, man, haven't been here in forever. Semester just ended, so I'm back at the perfect time, ready for 282. Happy to have you back, Air Mamba. Happy to have you back. We have a lot of lurkers in the chat tonight, I'll tell you that much. Let me know. Let me know right now in the chat. Who is all lurking in the chat right now? Who is all lurking in the chat? I would love to know. So put your name in the chat. Till wins? Question mark? Really? Okay. Yes. Who you beat in a Greco-Roman match? I'm not even sure what that question is. Hopefully, Francis loses to John Jones and calls out DC or Stipe. That would be epic. Yeah. Paddy said he signed a new contract before his last fight. Hamza is in training camp in Sweden right now. Not sure if he will show for Till. Hope he does, though. Love the channel. Thank you, Dean. I appreciate you. We'll see what happens. Gage is lurking. Sailboy's lurking. Anthony's lurking. Alex is lurking. Gage is folding laundry. Never bet on someone with their back against the wall like Till. Till will either melt or shine. I feel like that's a non-statement. The UFC gave Till a fight. They thought he could win. If he can't, then he's done. Agreed. MMA Khan is lurking. Constantly Grown is lurking. Dean is lurking. Amari lurking, listening on my drive home. Have a safe drive home, Amari. Till is unknown with the skill set. Hopefully training with Hamzat helped. Yeah, hopefully it helped. Hopefully it helped. Would you beat MMA Guru in a Greco-Roman match? Sure. I got Rosas beating Jay Perrin, like to start his combinations from far away. It really helps the taller fighter heavy. I think he wins with his grappling. Remember that video where John Jones was sprinting on a treadmill? Imagine how much faster he would have been if he had been in the Rock shoes. That is very true. I mean, he would have been much, much faster in the Rock shoes. So, Um, why is my phone on loud right now? I don't want that. Yeah, I mean, once you put on the Brahma Bull shoes and it's got that logo on the side, I mean, basically you're Flash. Imagine facing off and your opponent gives you a Bible verse. Yeah. You can never be confident with Till. Agreed. I picked against Till against Brunson. I picked against Till against Whitaker. The last time I picked Till. When's the last time I picked Till? Let me take a look. I don't remember the last time I picked Darren Till, to be honest. Let me take a look at his resume. I picked him to lose against Brunson. I picked him to lose against Whitaker. I picked him to lose against Gastelum. I picked him to lose against Masvidal. I think I picked him to beat Woodley. So I have not picked Darren Till since the Woodley fight. So it's been 4 years since I picked Darren Till. And I'm picking him in this fight. So take that for what you will. But yeah. Darren Till versus Izzy would have been a good fight, but I doubt Darren will even get to the point of fighting Izzy. What do you think? I don't think he has to win a lot of fights to be able to get there. So we'll see. We'll see, but Darren Till, just because of his name, if he's able to string like 2 decent wins together and Adesanya gets the belt back, I could see him getting a title shot. Joe, I want to see Bo versus Roman Dolidze. That'd be fun. Mr. Joey, thoughts on Paddy versus Ariel drama? Whose side are you on? I'm on Ariel's side. Live chat from last night. Go watch the stream. The first entire half hour is talking about Ariel versus Paddy. So if you want to know in-depth thoughts on it, go watch last night's live chat. I maybe start 5 minutes in, and then the next 30 minutes is about Ariel versus Paddy. So Joe, I already read that. Usain Bolt running in the rock shoes. Holy shit. Did you see the video where Bryce says he doesn't train at a gym for secrecy? I love it. No, I did not see that, but that's hilarious. Haven't watched UFC 282 presser. Is it worth it? No, it's not. Facts, you put the red Brahma Bull shoes on, you're an astronaut. Exactly. I mean, you can basically get away with any crime because you can just outrun anybody. Dreykus is tough, not an easy fight for Till. That's true. Darren Till should go back to welterweight, in my opinion. I think he will probably if he loses this one. Got it. I'll check it out. I'm on Ariel's side too. Seems very hypocritical of Paddy. Yeah, Paddy comes out of this entire situation smelling like absolute dog shit. I mean, yeah. It's actually an embarrassment. It's actually an embarrassment for what Paddy did. But yeah, I'm on Ariel's side too. I think Paddy was just throwing shade to kiss up to Dana. Yup. Just gobbling up Dana. Just gobbling up Dana for the sake of gobbling up Dana. It's actually an embarrassment. It's a really bad look. Thoughts on us trading the biggest war criminal for the last 30 years for the WNBA player? I don't really have any thoughts on that one. So, I mean, it is what it is. Paddy better be paying the fighters that go on his YouTube channel. Yeah. Paddy better start dishing out them checks. Paddy better start dishing out those checks. I hope he paid Dana for being on his YouTube channel. Otherwise, he's just using him for money. He should pay him. Welterweight is going to be worse for Till. Millions of wrestlers. That is true as well. Paddy lied about Gordon for no reason. He's such an attention whore. That's him so embarrassed. That was a bad look for him at the presser. Joey, sources are saying TKZ versus Giga is set for South Korea. I saw that. That's a little bit old. That's a little bit old news. But yes, that is happening. Joe, you ever played God of War? Back in the day, but I've not played any of the new ones. But I've thought about, can you play the new one without playing all the old ones? I kind of want to. I've been hearing a lot of good things about it, and I want to play something. I have a PS5, but I just haven't played it at all since I bought it. I got it on release. So can you play it without having played the old ones? I heard it's great. Guys, do me a favor. Like the stream. Like the stream. Maybe we can get 100 people in here before I get out of here. We almost got 100 people in here right now. Like the stream. I just hit my microphone. Now I'm pissed for it to be bouncing around like that. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to at least 7,000 before the end of the year. All right? And we're almost there. Okay. How sore is Paddy's throat right now on a scale from 1 to 10? Probably like a 15. After he had Dana on that podcast and was just deep throating him, yeah. Did you see Alex P when they were face off? He took the red gems off, and I was like, and throw them when he slung the $1 million red slippers to the crowd. I did not see any of this. In my opinion, Mr. Joey, Paddy went to one of the most liked fighters to most disliked overnight. Agreed. The new God of War is different universe, not Greek gods, now Norse. Yes, play God of War 2018 should be free, then play the newest one. Don't need to play the old ones. Okay, so I gotta play 28. What's the 2018 one called? Kratos has restarted his life. The games are newer and better than ever. Alex P standing with Elsa is one of my favorite non-fighting MMA moments of the year. That was pretty funny. I like how the UFC promotes 282 of saying Paddy's pay-per-view debut. I mean, I can't believe Paddy and Jared Gordon is in a co-main event. That's just an embarrassment to the card. Do you think Alex Morono has a chance? I think he does. I think he does. But I think Ponzinibbio most likely gets it done. It's called God of War. People call it 2018 because the new one is God of War Ragnarok. So you just got to play 2 of them then. I'll maybe check it out. The thing is, I'm never gonna finish it though. I want to play The Last of Us 2. I played The Last of Us 1 like 5-6 years ago, and I was like, oh, why isn't there a second one already? And hold on, what's this? So, that's hilarious. Dana gave a speech at the MMA awards, and then they cut to Ariel Helwani in the crowd, and he's just not clapping. It's hilarious. Ariel hates him and just 10-8'd him. The story will keep you enthralled, I promise, brother. It's not about that, it's just about timing. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time. Okay. Yeah, so tomorrow's Bellator 289. I'll be streaming that. I'll also be doing like maybe an hour and a half UFC 282 pre-fight stream where I'll give you my picks for every fight on the card. We'll go through the full card. So tomorrow I'll be streaming for like 3 hours-ish, 4 hours maybe, depending on how long the Bellator card is. But guys, do me a favor. Like this stream before you go. If you want to watch more content, watch my UFC 282 predictions, which are easy to find on the channel. If you have any final questions, throw them in the chat. I'll answer them before I go. But I will be live tomorrow, and I will be live Saturday as well. So it's not like I won't be back in like 24 hours. Joey, how does Dustin do in the welterweight division? Awful. He gets ragdolled by everyone. If Paddy plays the bully character, almost like Connor, I hope he loses brutally. Agreed. Mr. Joey, do you think Paddy has to do to be liked again? I don't know if he can rehab. I mean, you're just a liar and you're fake. It's just cornballish. But win a couple fights, people probably forget. Do you think Meatball Molly versus Morose makes sense? Yeah, I guess so. The closer it gets, I'm actually getting hyped for 282. I'm excited. Not crazy excited, but I'm excited. Is Hamzat the only fighter that on the roster you believe is capable to... No, he's not capturing 3 belts. It's not going to happen. So, no. The answer is no. Apparently, Costa declined his offer from the UFC and wants a title shot to re-sign. Thoughts? He's probably just trolling. I mean, what does that come from? His Twitter? Is that coming from his Twitter? Probably just trolling. Probably not even accurate, to be honest. Joey, do you think with all the hate on Paddy now, it could affect his performance this weekend? It's possible. It's possible it could affect him. You never know. You never know. It could be getting to him. He's going to say, I don't care, and this and that. But it could actually be affecting him, you know? So, There's a lot of hate coming in. He's going to be harassed for years to come about this. And he opened himself up to it. That's the most embarrassing part. That is really, truly the most embarrassing part. Because he didn't need to do it. He didn't need to do it. I mean, just to go out there and blatantly lie, embarrassing. Will Heartbeat Herb be at this pay-per-view? I would assume. Any fighters have a build like Hamzat or 3 impossible, do you think, for anyone? It's impossible for anyone. How many hours do you think you can exercise wearing Venom gear, rock shoes, drinking Monster, eating? Unlimited. Unlimited time. Unlimited time. Basically, you're invincible wearing all that stuff. It's basically impossible to get tired wearing Venom gear, rock shoes, drinking Monster Energy. What's next? What's next? You're using DraftKings too? That's an extra. They should give Paddy a 2-fight deal, him signing a tune-up, and then ranked opponent, someone like Grant Dawson. Yeah, I think they're going to give him easy matchups for another year, would be most likely. Listen, guys, if you want to see my entire take on the Ariel Helwani Paddy Pimblett situation, I talked about it in last night's live chat. So I'm going to post that link in the chat. This is last night's live chat. If you want to go to that, skip maybe 4 minutes in, 5 minutes in, and then I do a whole half hour breaking down the Ariel Helwani Paddy Pimblett situation. So for those of you who asked me about it, all stream, what's your in-depth thoughts? I broke it down on this stream. I thought about doing a video on it. I probably should have. I just didn't have time doing these streams and stuff. But you can watch in-depth on that video. Link in the chat right now. Thank you guys all for joining me tonight. I will be back tomorrow night for Bellator and for a UFC 282 pre-fight. So join me tomorrow night. Don't forget, like this stream before you go. Subscribe to this channel. Go watch the UFC 282 predictions. Go watch last night's live chat. And there you go. That's it. Good night. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.